Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear friends, students, mentors, supporters, viewers, peers, learners, and certainly learners with me. Today, we are going towards the last, or maybe the penultimate, second last lecture on the leadership theories. And so far, we have been able to discuss various school of thoughts in the leadership. But before I formally start with my lecture of the day, I will recite a few verses from the Holy Quran. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. أفلا ينظرون إلى الإبل كيف خلقت وإلى السماء كيف رفعت وإلى الجبال كيف نصبت وإلى الأرض كيف سطحت فذكر إنما أنت مذكر لست عليهم بمسيطر صدق الله العظيم. Certainly, in the present dynamic world, one of the very common buzzword which we are using is team. And more or less the leaders, one way or the other way, are dealing with the diversified teams of human resource and people hailing from different backgrounds, different cultures, beliefs, customs, traditions, and liking, dislikings. So the biggest challenge for the team leaders is to utilize the leadership skills in a way that the synergies are created and the individual strengths of the team members support each other to create better and higher performance. And that's why sometimes the teams are also called high performing teams. We normally define the team in a very simple way, that it is the collection of people in which the collective performance and outcome is more than the sum of the individual performance. And that is certainly the spirit of synergy. And the synergy definitely talks about creating strength for each other so that the members are supporting each other to create more and higher performance. We'll see it if we had some time, then we may discuss this case study. But certainly, the team is a group of people with a full set of complementary skills required to complete a task, job, or a project. So we discussed that the team members are supposed to complement each other and to support the strengths of each other. So they are highly interdependent, and they share authority and responsibility for self-management. They're accountable for the collective performance. Definitely the credit always go to the entire team, and the entire team is accountable for the performance or poor performance or good performance, whatever. Work toward a common goal and shared rewards. That again is very important because the leaders have to provide them enough information about the common and shared goals. A team becomes more than just a collection of people, and a strong sense of mutual commitment creates synergy. And this I discussed, that the mutual commitment and supporting the performance of each other would create a synergy in which they would strengthen each other to create a better and more performance. And the good teams in the organizations would lead to greater productivity, effective use of resources, which we call optimization sometimes, better decision and problem solving, the effective decision making in a timely manner, better quality products and services, and greater innovation and creativity. This was reported by Parker. Now, the one of the prominent leadership model was proposed by Hill, and if you look at this model, at the top we see there are leader decisions, and then there are some internal leadership actions and some external actions, and by the end of the day, we have the team effectiveness, which is measured in terms of performance and development of the people. So both are very important. That at one side, we would like to have a better performance. At the same time, we would try to develop and groom the team members for the future targets. Now, the Hill model, it provides a tool to understand the complex phenomena of team leadership. The initial leadership decisions or actions may be of three types, maybe the combination of all the three, or sometime one or two. The first thing is that the leadership decision would involve monitoring and evaluating the performance of the team members or the groups, and then, as and where required, would take appropriate action. Then the decisions sometimes may be related to the task and relationship with the team members, and there might be some internal or external decisions. The team leader develops a mental conception of what a team problem is and what solutions are possible in this context, given the environmental and organizational constraints and resources. Zakaru. Effective team leaders are able to construct an accurate mental models of the team's problem by observing team functioning and can take requisite actions to solve these problems. Effective team leaders can diagnose correctly and choose the right action. This is again the same old things with the leadership, that they would try to diagnose the problem and then create a team which can achieve the high performance and solve these problems. Now, the performance we discussed is always measured in two ways. The first is the performance or the task performance or the goal performance, which are the outcome of the teamwork. And then the development of team, which by the end of the day, the team leaders would create a cohesiveness and an ability of the team members to work with each other and to satisfy their own needs while working effectively with the other members. So these two are very important. Both are important, that at one side, the performance is important, and on the other side, the development of the team members. Heckman in 2012 posed 6 questions for enabling conditions of teamwork. Number one, is it a real team? No, this is very important, that just an agglomeration or collection of people would not always having a team. And the second is, if there is any compelling purpose which can combine them to make a team, this may be a common shared goals, this may be a common objective, this may be the objective and the purpose for which the team has been built. Does it has the right people? Yes, the right people is really very important in the team, because if you choose even one person who is not relevant to the team in terms of his capacity or in terms of his willingness, then certainly this kind of person would damage the common purpose of the team. Are the norms of conduct clear? It's very important that once we develop the team, we should have a clear norms and standards and etiquettes. Is there support from the organizational context? Really very important that even if you have a very good team of very committed and motivated people, but if the organizational support is not available, then the team performance cannot be achieved. And finally, is there any coaching, team focused coaching? This would continue throughout the team leadership, that from the day first to the end, the coaching would go. One of the common in the most famous process of the team building, we normally say that there is farming, that we form the teams based on the backgrounds and the previous commitments of the people and the experience. And then we, for some time, have the storming like situation in which the people would have the brainstorming. There would be understanding, there would be questions and answers, and then people would become the norming situation where the norms of the team are developed and the people would come to the normal situation to deliver. And then they would start the performing, which is the time of high performance. And then once the team purpose and goals are accomplished, then they may adjourn the team and the team may be taken to the new roles. Now, the goals must be very clear for the teams. Now, we many times have very good teams, but unfortunately, the team leaders are not able to spell out a very clear and elevating goal. This is the compelling purpose for which the team members would energize, orient, and they will always look at the collective objective, and they would be required to be engaged with their full talents. Now, the enabling condition for the um, team effectiveness, for example, the compelling purpose, the right people, the real time, and all these which Heckman has decided, is given in 2012. And then we see the Larson and LaFaso 1989 that we normally have the characteristics of excellent teams, for example, clear and elevating goals, result-driven structure, competent team members, unified commitment, collaborative climate, standard of excellence, external support and recognition, and principal leadership. So one way or the other way, these are the same thing, but Hackman has described it in a new way, in a bit brief way. The second is the result-driven structure, which is really very important because the structure of organization is really very important for the team building and team leading, and to achieve the high performance is a common purpose. It may include the task design and the team compositions and core norms to conduct. So three very important attributes. The first is that how do we design the tasks which are assigned to the different members? And then how do we make the teams and sub-teams? And then finally, what are the code of conduct and norms for the delivery of the individuals and team? The second is problem resolution teams, such task forces are task force, which need a structure that emphasizes trust so that they will be willing and able to contribute. So the structure we ultimately constitute for the team must have and must be exhibiting the trust from the people and individual and collectively. Creative teams, for example, such as advertising team, which may come up with innovative creative ideas, they would need to have some autonomy so that they can work within the that autonomy. The tactical teams, such as emergency room teams and the people who are working with the emergency room, the healthcare emergencies, they're the people who have to take immediate decisions based on the prevailing situations, and they have to ensure the safety of others, but at the same time also keeping their safety at the top priority. They emphasize clarity so that everyone knows what to do and when. So the clarity of task and the clarity of role is very important to be done in the teams. And finally, appropriate structures enable the team to meet their needs while still accomplishing team goals. So the structure should also reward and structure should also take care of the needs of the team members. The competence of the team members, which is really very important, we discussed that the team should be composed of the right number and mix of people. Sometimes we have very little number, and sometimes we have very large number. And again, the competency sometimes may not be of the required standard. So some of the competencies in the team may include, for example, the technical competencies, the technological competencies, interpersonal and teamwork skills, problem-solving skills, teamwork factors, set openness, supportiveness, action orientation, and positive person style. So these are some of the very strong team competencies, member competencies, which we normally see in the team members. The unified commitment is really very important, that the team building and team commitment and the team performance does not happen if we don't have a common unified commitment from each and individual, right from the top to the bottom. And the excellent team are those who have developed a sense of unity and identification. And this would cause sometimes this team spirit, which often can be developed by involving each and every member in the process of team building and solving the problems. Now, the fifth very important element for the team building is collaborative climate. And this is one of the most important factor in the team performance, that the climate in which the people would collaborate with each other, where there is a cohesiveness in the team members and they are ready to contribute openly and with open heart and smilingly and enthusiastically, and that is where the team building is really very important. So they would feel free to take the risk and be willing to compensate for one another. Well, in an atmosphere that fosters collaboration, we need to develop trusting relationship. It's very important that the team members trust each other, they trust the leaders, and there should be honesty, openness, consistency, and respect. Team members each have their own unique roles. They are typically found to contribute the team's successes. This is another very important attribute of the team building, that they have unique roles. Effective team leaders can facilitate a collaborative climate by managing their own needs to control, by making communication safe, by demanding and rewarding. So the communication has to be safe, and the personal uh, confidentiality and the personal secrecy should be maintained. And at the same time, there must be a rewarding and demanding environment in which the collaborative behavior would come, and the appreciation from the leaders and problem solving efforts should be done collectively by the team members. Another very important attribute which Hell mentioned in his model was the standards of excellence. Well, the team members' performance should be regulated so that actions can be coordinated and tasks completed. Now, the team standards should be of very high quality. And once the team definitely achieve these quality standards, they are making their standard higher and higher. So the excellence is not something reaching at a particular point, but you are making your journey more difficult by increasing or enhancing the standards of excellence. So the standard must be clear and concrete, and all team members must be required to perform to the standards. So the standard operating procedures, the standards of relationship with each other, the standard of delivery, all these are important. Leader can facilitate this process by requiring results, making expectations clear, and reviewing results, uh, providing feedback to resolve performance issues, and rewarding result by acknowledging superior performance. This is again very important, that the team leader can facilitate uh, this process of creating standards of excellence. With such standards in place and monitors, members will be encouraged to perform at their highest level. So once the standards have been clearly clearly made to all the team members and the standard procedures have been defined to achieve that, then all the members of the team are expected to achieve these goals and standards at the highest level. The seventh is external support and recognition. This is really very important, that the support not only from within the team, but also from the different line managers, from different functional managers to the team is very important. Because if, for example, if the finance department is not going to support the team, or human resource department is not going to support the team, or any other functional department, online department is not supporting the team, then definitely it would not be easy for the team to deliver. So a supportive organizational context would include material resources, reward for excellent performance, an educational system to develop necessary team skills, and information system to provide data needed to accomplish the task. So four things have been identified by HEL: that material resources, the performance appraisal and rewards, the development of the team members, and the information system which can be available to the team members to accomplish their tasks. Now, the best goal, team members and commitment will not mean much if there is no money, equipment, and supplies for accomplishing the goal. So, if these resources, which we have mentioned above, are not given to the teams and the team members, no doubt, no matter if the team is comprised of very competent people, they would not be able to deliver. And this is very unfortunate in places like Pakistan, that we bring the people at very high prices. We make very good teams, and we expect that this team would deliver at a high level of performance. But unfortunately, many times we are not going to support them in terms of resources. There must be system in place to support the teams, and clear direction, information, data resources, rewards, and trainings are available so that they are enabled to become more effective in achieving performance goals. Teams can achieve excellence if they are given the resources needed to their jobs, are recognized for team accomplishments, are rewarded for team performance rather than individual performance. So this is very important in the team performance, that the team as a whole is always rewarded for the team performance, not the individuals. Now, the leadership which the Hill model has mentioned is the principal leadership, which is a leadership which would always take the team with them, and his or her decision would always be based on some well dictated or well placed principles. So leadership has been described as the central driver of team effectiveness, influencing the team through four sets of processes: cognitive, motivational, effective, and coordination. It's very important. The first is that the team leader has to be intelligent in terms of cognitive understanding, and not only the cognitive, but also the emotional intelligence should be there. The motivational, that he should have the capacity and the high expertise on motivating the people so that they can deliver uh, enthusiastically and willingly to the common goals of the team. And effective, that the skills and the knowledge which the leader is having, it should bring change in the team. And then he must or she must be able to coordinate the different organs of the team, the different people, the different departments, the different sections. Motivationally, the leader helps the team becomes cohesive and capable by setting high performance standards and helping the team to achieve them. Effectively, the team helps the team handle stressful circumstances by providing clear goals, assignments, and strategies. Similarly, coordinating is the leader helps integrate the team activities by matching member skill to roles, providing clear performance strategies, monitoring feedback, and adapting to the environmental changes. And the effective team leaders are committed to the team's goals uh, and give members autonomy to unleash their talent when possible. So the conducive environment which they normally produce and provide will then definitely create the cohesiveness within the team members, and they would be able to deliver in a common way to the common goals. The leadership decisions, which was again in the Hill model, he further explained that there should be four kinds of circumstances in which this grid has been divided into four quadrants, and the uh, horizontal, you see the monitor and then executive action, and then you have internal and external environment. So the internal environment, you mostly when you are monitoring, you diagnose the group deficiencies and try to develop them so that they can preserve these deficiencies. And if we go for the executive actions, you may take the remedial actions in case if there is any imperfect performance, or if there is any deviation from the standards, then you will take immediate corrective actions within the team. At the external level, if we keep monitoring as a function, we may think of forecasting the environmental changes. For example, how the team performance would be affected by the COVID-19, and how the external uh, financial problems would lead to the performance and impact on the performance of team. So this can be the impact of external developments on the internal performance, which is a forecasting of performance, and then in executive actions within the preventing deleterious changes. For example, there might be pressures from the external factors and environment which would force the team leadership and to go for any thing which he would not like to, which may be sometime against the team ethics. So this kind of pressures would be definitely very important for the leaders to sustain. And also, if there is any, for example, if there is some misperception in the media about the team performance, then definitely the external stakeholder and the team leader would try to prevent this kind of propaganda against the team. So in the first decision confronting the team leader is whether to keep observing the team or take actions to help the team. So this is the decision that whether you would like to monitor or you would like to take the action. The second, we discussed that the relational needs, that two critical leadership functions, task and maintenance. Task leadership functions that are getting the job done, making decisions, and solving the problems. And maintenance functions include developing a positive climate, solving the interpersonal problems. So this would depend on the third one is, should I intervene internally or externally? This is another very important decision, that effective team leaders analyze the balance of internal and external demands of the team and react appropriately. In case of internal conflicts, internal relationship actions is required. If the team goals are not clear, then internal task intervention is also needed. The leadership actions which the Hill model could identify are, for example, the goal focusing, that a clear goal focusing is required, the clarifying, gaining an agreement structure for results, planning, visioning, organization, where clarifying the roles and delegating the powers and authority, facilitating decision making, informing, controlling, coordinating, mediating, synthesizing, focusing on issues, and training the team members in task skills, educating, development trainings, and all these, and maintaining the standard of excellence. So these are the five very important team leadership actions in which the team leaders would try to perform as per the need of the team. The internal relationship leaders' actions, for example, the coaching the team members in the interpersonal skills, collaborating, involving, including managing conflict and power issues, fighting for avoiding confrontation, questioning ideas, avoiding groupthink, uh, building commitment and spirit decode. I mean, the team spirit, which we call, creating the commitment and the team spirit, and then satisfying individual member needs, and finally modeling ethical and principled practices, fair treatment, and fair, consistent, and normative things. External actions which are very important while delivering the team leader, that you will network with the people outside the organization with different alliances, with different networks. Then you will advocate and represent the team to the external environment. You will negotiate upward and downward to secure necessary resources. You will try to buffer between the team members and the external or internal environment. And that is a role which is really very important at the leadership role of the team, that you have to save the team from any uh, any things which can create the team uh, the team disunity, disintegration, and sharing relevant environmental information with team. Now, the team leadership's model of the HEL works in a many way, because it provides the leader with a cognitive map of identifying team needs and offers suggestions about how to take appropriate corrective actions. In using the model, the team leadership engages in the leader mediation process by deciding which option is most appropriate for the team, monitoring or taking action. The leader may decide about appropriate interventions for various situations, that is internal relationship problem or internal task problem or external environmental problem. So within these three problems or actions, he may decide as per the requirement of the particular problem. The team leadership in models aids in team analysis and improvement, much like that of sports team. In sports, the coach does not stop working just because the team is winning. The coach keeps working to build commitment, develop young players, share expertise, create new methods and strategies, and generally improve team functioning. The effective coach never rests on past successes, but works to improve the team functionings for future as well. After a win or loss, a football coach will have a team review, video, and game plans to determine area of success and failures. And this is really very important. And no matter if the team performance is also even very high, still you have to see after each performance, you review your performance and try to identify your strength and weakness. Now, the strengths of the Hill model are that it is focused on real life organizations. It is a cognitive guide which maintain effective team. Thirdly, it takes into account the changing role of leaders and followers in organizations, and you could see the three major roles as team. In addition, this approach of team leader can help in selection of the team leaders and team members. So this can help us to select the best people or good people in the team. There are a few criticisms. The first is that the team leadership would definitely depend on the situations, and there might be, for example, if you are leading an IT team, merely the team leadership skills are not important. You may need some additional skills. A team might need to modify the model to include skills that are particularly relevant to the effectiveness. So you can add some more set of skills in a particular conditions or circumstances. Even though the model does not include all possible leadership skill, it is still quite complex. Team leaders need to spend time adjusting to the framework so that it comes naturally to them when decisions are needed. So there are a lot of demands on the part of team leaders, and that's why, which makes this leadership model of the Hill a bit expensive, a bit complicated. In addition, the roles of leaders and followers can change over time, making it very important for team leaders and team members to possess the requisite skills. The the team leadership or even the leadership is always a dynamic process, and you cannot just rest on one set of skills, and the leaders would keep on learning the new skills, and the skill set would keep on changing with the new assignments. The Hill model can be applied in a wider perspective. You can take the help to start with your leadership skills in the teams, but definitely you will try to bring your own understanding of the skills you need. Now, if we look at the evolving nature of the teams, it's very they are interdependent, and collections are becoming very more and more complex. The team members depend on each other to do their work. Second, team members share responsibility. We discussed this. In certain cultures, allowing individual goals to be subsumed by team goals is often difficult because it goes against the core psychological drivers of self-preservation. The two elements of how teams operate are important to keep in the mind. One is the team element of team effectiveness and different types of teams. Recommend identify different kinds of, for example, teams. For example, the top management groups are teams, task forces, professional support groups, performance groups, human service teams, customer service teams, production teams, and so on. So there are a couple of other kind of teams also, but I would not go into the detail. that this would depend on the nature of service or the nature of job of the organization, in which they would try to develop different kinds of teams based on their specific requirements. I leave this to for you to read, and this is basically based on the Hill model. This is a team leadership questionnaire, and there is uh, about 13 different questions about your team leadership, and then you can use the scale and see that how the team leadership skill are available with you, and what particular weakness or strengths are there with you as a team leader. Thank you very much. I think the future leadership is evolving more holistic, and more positive form of leadership are being integrated into literature. Increasing attention is being given to examining how leadership causally impacts interim and ultimate outcomes. The follower is becoming an integral part of the leadership dynamics. There is growing interest in what genuinely develops leadership. E-leadership is becoming a commonplace dynamic in work organization. More and more leadership is being distributed and shared in organization. Leadership is being viewed as a complex and emergent dynamics in the organization. So these are some of the emerging trends in the future leadership, which is becoming more complicated. And I think at the top of these attributes in the future leadership would be their authenticity of their actions, their authentic behaviors, their characters, and their role model performance would be also very important. So we expect that in future more research will be conducted in the leadership with mixed methods, both the qualitative and quantitative. Determining the causal mechanism that link leadership to outcome will be a priority. So the more work on the causal relationship, the cause and effect relationship will be coming in the assessing and developing leadership using evidence-based strategy will be a target focus. Examining strategic leadership is a process and person will be an evolving area of the theory and research. More theoretical work and research will focus on the follower as a prime element in the leadership dynamics. And how to develop a global mindset among leaders will be an area of interest. The top priority area in the leadership would be in cultures that are unrepresented or underrepresented in the literature, such as Muslim cultures and other different types of cultures. How shared leadership evolves and develops will be focused in to face-to-face in virtual environments. So the evolution and the leadership theories would further, because the leadership is becoming more and more complex and dynamic, and we expect that the research in leadership would also require a lot of new challenges. So thank you very much. With this, we would finish our lecture of the day. I'm really grateful, and I would look forward for your comments and feedbacks on this lecture. Thank you very much. And at the end of my lecture, I pray to the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that the present COVID-19 and the coronavirus, which has played a havoc to the humanity, we pray to the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He bring peace to the world, and we are emancipated from this menace and lethal and deadly virus and the COVID-19. And we believe that inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be very peaceful and will be very merciful and very Rahman ar-Rahim to provide His omni protections to us, and the world once again would be the place of peace, in the place of living together, and the people would once again come to the normal life. ربنا ولا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا واخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. صدق الله العظيم. And thank you very much.